The Great Salt Lakes of inland Australia are one of my favourite places on earth. And the thing to do is to crunch out across them towards the middle, and when you get there, to stop and just to listen. Do you hear that? Nothing. It's the sound of silence. What's happening is the crystalline surface of the lake, like a snowfield, is actually dampening the sound, sucking it in and silencing everything. It makes this place the quietest spot on earth. But not today.
It's autumn on Lake Gardner, and suddenly this remote salt lake in outback South Australia becomes the noisiest place on earth. And no one's complaining.
Nothing quite like the sound of a V8.
There's no place like this, is there?
Yes, the sound is just wonderful. It makes me wish I was in that car right there. It's kind of gets your heart going.
Oh yeah, I love the noise. Yeah, it's the noise is the power.
It's so noisy, it's amazing they've kept it so quiet. They've been coming here almost secretly for 15 years. Hundreds of them. Rev heads, speed freaks, some of the fastest people in Australia and indeed the world. All of them driven by the insane urge to go a bit faster than they did this time last year.
This is the only place in Australia that you can jump in a car and strap yourself in, or jump on a bike and see how long the throttle cable is.
Chris Fraser wants to do 200 miles an hour. Speed speaks the old lingo here, but that's 322 kilometres an hour on this extraordinary machine, a 5-metre long, 350 horsepower bike.
I think what a lot of us don't understand when we're talking about a bike at these speeds is there are no rehearsals. There's nowhere you can practice. Only here.
That's right, once a year. Just put it together the best way you can and bring it to the salt and try it.
I first met the beast and its creators round the back of a shed at Silverton, just outside of Broken Hill. They told me its name was...
Oh my God!
Because that's what everyone says when they first see
What do you
it.
reckon?
And we put it through an automatic transmission that came standing in the car, and then through a 280ZX differential that we've tinkered with a little bit.
Should I nod wisely here?
Yeah,
Right, okay. Can I try it?
Of course, jump on.
Basically, it was an idea dreamed up in the local pub by a bunch of old mates. Chris Fraser is the publican of the Silverton Hotel, and his friend Trevor Clare is a local farmer.
How interested is the community in you cracking that 200-mile speed limit?
The amount of publicity that the bike has absorbed over the last 18 months is phenomenal. So with saying that, all the locals have thought, God, that's unbelievable.
The Broken Hill Races is a more traditional Australian outback display of horsepower. But even here, on the eve of the Lake Gardner Challenge, Chris and Trevor and the big bike were the main interest.
Hi, fellas, how you going, mate?
Trevor, you going, man? So what's going on? You're breaking the 200 miles an hour?
It seemed that the whole town shared the crazy dream.
Let me just say that this place is the pits. Quite literally, this is where the pit crews have camped, where they've set up this extraordinary village in one of the driest, most remote places on Earth, in the middle of nowhere.
It's blindingly bright and 46 degrees Celsius, but it doesn't deter another man with a dream of speed, this time on 4 wheels, from trying to become the first Australian to break the 300-mile-an-hour barrier in, despite appearances, a conventionally powered vehicle.
This week in this remote salt lake is, to me, it's the last bastion of amateur motorsport. Anybody can come here and have a go whether they're trying to go 50 miles an hour or 150 miles an hour or 300 miles an hour.
John Lynch from Castlemaine in Victoria will make the attempt in this 1,500 horsepower hand-built racing machine called the belly tanker.
I guess I've always wanted to go fast. That's just something that I love. Power and speed, it excites me.
It's a 9-mile track on a 120-mile lake. The middle mile of the track is the measured mile. If Lynch can average over 300 miles an hour on that mile, he joins the world's most exclusive car club. In this lunar landscape, it's appropriate to observe that more people have been blasted into space than have achieved that land speed.
Car 92, 301.729. Oh, true bug. Oh, no. Just the Kiwi. I don't know whether I want to be fun. All right, John.
So happy I could cry.
I could cry too, you've made our story.
Thanks, mate.
You're still the fastest man in Australia, but...
I guess so. No, that's great. That's great.
It's an impressive but an obscure achievement. John Lynch's amazing Australian victory over inertia won't even make tomorrow's papers. Yet out here in the salt, it's like winning an Academy Award, especially the speech.
I got to thank my team. Without them, look, most of them been with me for the full 10 years it's taken. Without them, I couldn't have done anything.
That's what they said.
They're right. And my wife and kids are putting up with a stupid obsession of mine.
Dawn the next day finds the Silverton bike team enjoying a hearty breakfast, but not the prospect of racing. High winds arose during the night, making conditions too dangerous.
A tailwind or a direct headwind's not as major as when you've got a side wind like we've got here now. Nobody's going to run with a side wind at speed.
But more than anything, these blokes are the catering team. They are here for a good time.
No whipped butter burning. That's next week.
Oh, it's good.
They bring their own produce and their own butcher. And their pancakes are so famous, they draw racing celebrities.
It's fast, though. It's
How sweet, it sure does.
Like America's Gail Phillips, one of the fastest women in the USA, a member of the elite 200-mile-an-hour club.
I must ask you one thing, that
Yes.
you went 205 miles an hour.
Yes.
What's it like at 200 miles an hour? Because
It's-
that's pretty much what we're trying to achieve, that's all.
Well, I don't know what it'll feel like in a motorcycle, but in our Austin Healey Sprite, it was like time kind of slows down, and you feel like you're taking 5 or 10 minutes to do something that's really taking about 90 seconds.
Inspired by the compelling words of Gail Phillips, I had to do it. And to do it in a V8 supercar.
And the big thing is not to stall. This thing doesn't want to go slowly.
The fastest production car in Australia, which clocked a record 304 kilometres an hour on Lake Gad.
That first. Nothing is easy. Ah, shit.
And in kilometres, mine was only a modest velocity.
Now the gear change is amazing.
Though in the nation's highways, enough to have me locked away forever. But I did become the fastest reporter on the lake that week, and I did manage to frighten myself.
I'm running out of track. 160, 65, 80, 90, 200. Shit. Whoa. Do you ever get scared out there?
Oh, yeah. There wouldn't be a person here that didn't. If you don't get scared, you're not humming, you're not concentrating, you're not focused on what you're doing.
Yep, they're up.
And so to our main event, the 5-metre bike. With just 2 days to go, they get their first practice run. And at 130 miles per hour, the bike holds together, and for the first time, the dream is within reach. At dawn, the last day of the meet, the weather is perfect. And at last, they get their first and only crack at the 200 mile per hour challenge. And so he roared off to his rendezvous with destiny out on that huge, blinding white plain, where at 150 miles per hour, everything went wrong.
What's wrong, mate?
Fucking transmission. There's your slip, buddy.
Well, are you disappointed?
Very, very. For the helpers, for the blokes and the people that have supported us, I'm more annoyed for those people, not for myself. I had fun, I got to ride the bike.
What about for us? You've ruined our story and we've been following you for a week.
Don't you make me feel terrible as it is.
It had been a week in which many dreams had been realised and many records broken. But for some, the challenge still lies ahead. The need for speed yet to be attained.
You've still got more than 50 miles an hour to go.
We can do it next year. We'll do 200 miles an hour next year.
You
The bike
promise?
feels great.
Should I come back?
You bloody better.